managed to pretty much remove everything that was underneath here. And now that the rear axle is out, you can see just how filthy it is under here. I cleaned most of the underside a while ago, but now that the rear end is out, I have much better access to cleaning everything. So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm just going to clean this whole area up, make it a little nicer to look at and to work in. Alright, so as you can see, I got most of the underside all cleaned up, and man, what a difference. This car is super clean underneath, and I know it's had its fair share of issues previously, but rust is definitely not one of them. So next I'll be installing the IRS mounting brackets on the car and mount up the IRS cradle to give it a test fit to make sure everything lines up properly with the stock torque boxes while they're still in place. This is just to make sure my starting reference points are all where they need to be and nothing is out of whack. That's what I'm going to do next, but again, it's definitely motivating to see just how clean this thing really is. So here's my beautifully powder coated IRS cradle, and before I test fit it in, I just need to install my full tilt boogie racing subframe bushings. They've been sitting in the freezer for a little while, so they should be pretty easy to slide in and install. And then I'll go ahead and press the sleeves in with the bushing removal tool that I also got from Full Tilt Boogie Racing. So the Cobra bolts bolt right into the Saleen's quad shock mounting locations. I looked at the Cobra and the back section of this frame, and they're both exactly the same. So I'm guessing all 99 to 04s would be the same, but as far as the IRS bracket goes, all the mounting points are here. 2 at the side, 2 at the bottom. I'm pretty sure the Fox body and early SN95s don't have the threaded mounting locations at the bottom. That's why you see some guys drilling their own holes and making their own mounts to mount the IRS in. Here that's not the case. I don't have to do that. The inside of this rail already has like a threaded sleeve or nut or whatever you want to call it. It's hard to see, but there's a bit of excess metal debris from the spot welds on the frame rail. So I'm just going to grind these down quickly so I can get the IRS bracket to sit nice and flush with the frame rail. So from what I can see, it's going to be a really tight fit on the frame rail side. Even with the stock torque boxes and new bushings, there's very little wiggle room. This plate here is going to be cut out, but the sidewall of the new torque box is actually thicker than this piece, so the new boxes have to be mounted up as flush as possible to the frame rail. I'm thinking I'm going to have to shave the inner side of the bushing down a little bit, or even recess the whole box into the frame rail. Either that or do both, I'm not sure, but either way, gotta make it fit, gotta make it work. Here's a closer look at my busted up torque boxes. Clearly not in the greatest shape. Mainly bent up from typical jack stand and lift damage, but it's a pretty common issue on these cars. Still super annoying to deal with, you know. This whole thing is going to go basically from the frame rail all the way back and across, and all this is getting cut out. Then I'll go back and take some more measurements and then remove this inner plate here and then basically clean everything up. No turning back now. So I left this plate here so I could measure up the hole one more time without the other sheet metal in the way. And I had kind of like a last minute idea. I ended up putting a piece of tape behind the plate, like on the back side of the frame rail. And then I just marked a hole so that when the plate comes off, I still know exactly where the hole is. I mean, I have it measured and all, but it's nice to just have a visual where the hole is at all times when you're mocking up the new torque boxes. There's a piece of tape with the hole clearly marked, so that worked out well. And with the plate removed, you can see how the factory has this small recessed area in the frame rail. The problem is that it doesn't carry through all the way to the top, and in order to get the torque box right up against the frame rail. I need to get rid of that beveled edge at the top, kind of continue that recessed area all the way to the top so that the edge of the torque box actually tucks all the way in. That should be able to get it all the way flush, but I guess we'll see. The good news is I'm pretty much done cutting both sides. I've got most of the spot welds and cuts all ground down and cleaned up, and I'm pretty much ready to mock up the new boxes. I'll probably only show you guys the one side since it's like the same thing, but yeah, it turned out nice and clean. It's a pretty tedious job since there's not a lot of room up here, but I took my time. I tried to make it as clean as possible without, damaging anything along the way. Still have to modify the frame rails, but it's definitely good progress. I'm not too sure how long this video is going to be, but I want to keep it relatively short, so I'll probably finish off with a quick mock-up of the boxes in place just to show you guys. Then I'll finish it off in another video mixed in with some other good stuff. But just look at how clean this underside is. Like, there was literally no rust in between the spot welds. Anyways, I'm going to continue on. I'll finish up here, and I'll see you on the next one.